Hello, bookkeepers and roofers. Today, I'm excited to bring to you a new video, and this is purchase orders. Have you ever used purchase orders? Or maybe you've actually never heard of purchase orders and how it can help you in your bookkeeping. And also, if you're a roofer or contractor, this can help you improve your profits in your business. Purchase orders aren't just paperwork or something that we go through to create more work for ourselves, because we definitely don't want to do that. So we're going to take a look today at our purchase orders. Without purchase orders, then you don't see your actual profit on a job. You can't allocate materials correctly. This really helps you allocate the materials, whether you are just using QuickBooks or some other software program, or if you're using a CRM. Both of these work the same way. Generally, if you're using a CRM, you're going to do the purchase orders inside that CRM, like AccuLinks or Job Nimbus. That helps you keep track of the job along with your communication, your contract, your estimate that you send the customer to. And then you can put in there if you're ordering things from QXO, or it used to be Beacon, or you're using ABC, or you're using some other supplier that your CRM has agreements with, that you can order materials directly from that CRM. In those ways, that's how we're using the purchase order in there. Now, if you are on QuickBooks, say you don't have a CRM or you want to do it on QuickBooks, then we also, in QuickBooks Online Plus, you need to be at least in the Plus or Advanced. And if you are like a very large construction company, QuickBooks does have for construction QuickBooks Online Advanced. And I just took a look at that the other day as well, in fact, this week. So that's really great if you just want to use QuickBooks for everything, including your CRM. But it'll be more of having the numbers than your contacts in your work in progress. So for me, I prefer, and most size construction companies up to 5 million, I would say do the QuickBooks Online Plus and then have your CRM. When you're in your CRM too, that purchase order can be sent to QuickBooks as well. We can sync what we want to from the CRM into QuickBooks, just depending on what your workflow is and what you want to do. And QuickBooks, we have the purchase order. So what you can do is just go to your purchase order, put in whatever vendor you're going to use, and then put in whatever you're ordering from that vendor. Say if it's a contractor, then you're just going to be paying them for labor to do the roofing job, or maybe they are taking care of materials too. It just depends on whatever your estimate was. But once the customer says, okay, I want you to do this job for me, then you can put in a purchase order in QuickBooks. And then if it's for $3,000, you can send that purchase order, email it directly out of QuickBooks to that vendor. And then you can put any notes on it or anything like that. Please give me the schedule date that you can do this job, so you can get that on your calendar too. And then whatever contractor it is doing the job for you. You could also do that with QXO or ABC and email it to them, but you would want to contact them to let them know you're emailing this to them to make sure they get in their order. ABC and QXO don't have quite the communication between those two things. And ABC, they don't have the direct communication that you do like with the CRM. There are special arrangements in the CRM, like with AccuLinks and Job Nimbus for that. If you don't have a CRM, it's fine. You just put in your purchase order, both labor, materials, and things like that. And then when the job is finished, you can check that off that you've received that, and even put that into an invoice say that you were just charging someone per hour for labor for doing something, you can also do it that way. It goes directly into your accounts payable. So then you know exactly how much you are going to owe for that bill for those material. But when you don't use purchase orders, your margins disappear and materials end up, the cost is more than what you really thought it was. Because when you look at what you had estimated materials on that job to be, and maybe when you look at the invoice from ABC or QXO, that is $100 more. So that's $100 that's taken out of your profit. Or if your supplier charged you a different amount than you were quoted. So those are some things that you can check by having that purchase order. The purchase order gives you a way to see like what you were estimating and how much you sent the purchase order for, and then those actual costs. And so this is how it helps you with your job costing to get to know what profit margin you are really operating on. So this is all good to help you there. In QuickBooks, if you aren't using the CRM, you do have projects that you can do your invoices, you can do your purchase orders. So when all those expenses do come through the bank feed, then you can connect that expense to the expense that you put in projects. But if you aren't using the CRM, your own CRM, then yes, use projects in QuickBooks, and that will help you a lot. But this is why we use purchase orders, so we can do job costing, so we can make sure that we are making a profit on our jobs. If you need purchase order numbers, you want to keep your own list, then you can also create a spreadsheet with your PO number. Then as you're filling this out, if it was for Home Depot, whatever that charge was as well. That allows you to track things. Say for instance that you had project 1500 and okay, most everything was ordered from ABC, but then you had to go to Home Depot and pick up a box of nails. So now what you can do when you go to pick up that box of nails, you can actually on your receipt, you can mark the job number down, or when they're ringing it up as a memo, ask them to type in job 1500. A lot of times Home Depot, they will ask you if you have a job number. So when you use job numbers with the purchase orders and connecting that to your accounts payable, this will save you a lot of money here. And so you're really going to know if you need to increase prices, if you're making enough profit on these jobs, or what you need to do to change your business so that you do make better profits. That's our whole reason for knowing our numbers. I know you've probably heard that a lot, but what we're doing, we're looking at these numbers, we're looking at changes that come up. Even from week to week, I'm looking at these numbers to see what kind of trend that we are on, if our profits are increasing or if our expenses are getting too high. This allows us to then adjust really fast so that we don't lose a lot of money. We don't want to lose money, and then we can turn it around real quickly. So if materials are costing more than we had projected over several jobs, and we know we need to raise our price per square and what we're charging in the roofing sector. But you would do that with any type of business you have, contractor you're working with, to help them. As bookkeepers, we want to help them earn higher profits. I look at that as the most priority job that we have, is helping them earn higher profits. No matter if they're going to earn higher profits from watching the purchase orders, or maybe they're too heavy on the overhead, whatever those cases are, still the main goal is for them to increase their profits so that they can grow their company and so they can scale their company easily. And so we want to help them build a really solid foundation in order to do that. I do want to invite you guys to join us over on Roofing Bookkeepers Connection. I have free training for you. And if you are a bookkeeper and you are just getting started and you're trying to get clients and maybe even get your first clients, so just reach out how I can help you get started with your bookkeeping business to start generating some leads and start getting some clients. Thank you so much, and I hope you have a wonderful week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.